I didn't start this series because I had it all figured out. I started this series because I was tired of seeing women dim their light to fit into a story that was never written for them. This is Oman's Stories, and this series, The Act of Becoming, is about women who are rising, not just in their career or style, but in their truth. Women who have been through heartbreak, healing, and reinvention. Women who are still becoming. I started celebrating women's stories last year. We designed, we filmed, and I paused. Maybe I was afraid. Maybe I felt it wasn't perfect enough. But now I know that this is not just about fashion. This is freedom work.
I was real and I was honest about all the challenges of motherhood.
I gave birth, and 2 weeks down the line, I started to notice the patch
My experience. I faced my fair share of doubts, wondering if I was enough, if my story mattered.
I've always been a firm believer in myself and my abilities. At first, it wasn't get carried away with what A or B is doing. Focus on whatever you're doing. Keep reminding myself that Ivy, there is no going back. At first, it wasn't easy. I'm not gonna say, oh, I didn't have any self-doubts. Yes, I did. But with self-confidence has made me overcome my self-doubts, and it has also made me stay true to my confidence as a brand owner.
And stories like this should not be stored away in my camera roll. They should live. They should breathe. They should inspire. So, we're starting again. This time, still not perfect, but braver, louder, with more clarity, and becoming. And we're starting with me. Last year, I filmed something. It was short, it was simple, it was honest. It was a glimpse into where I come from, how I started sewing as a young girl, and how my family has been my support system since forever. Since then, I have grown, I've evolved, Oman has evolved, and today, I want to go a bit deeper. But before I start, let me show you what I did last year. As a child, I always loved creating new things. I always tried my hands out on something new. My parents saw this and backed me up. They made sure that I learned anything I was interested in, from hat making to bead making to makeup to sewing. I'm Onyechi, creative director and founder of Oman. Let me share a bit of my story with you. My family means the world to me. They're my biggest fans and inspiration. My dad was my rock, always supporting. Growing up, seeing my fashionista mom always looking elegant and stylish. My brother, always ready to invest and see the brand grow. He's far from a fashionista, but he has so much love for the fashion industry. My younger sister, my backbone, always ready to listen to my gist, always ready to listen to my wins and my struggles. My younger brother, the proudest and sweetest. My first sewing machine was gifted to me by my dad when I was born, and that is the start of my journey. I started sewing at the age of 10, and I took other courses while I was in school.
I have a bachelor's degree in business studies, human resource management major. However, I've always loved fashion. I've always loved creating new things. I've always loved to see things come alive. I've made it my plan A, plan B, plan C. Honestly, that's one of the reasons I am still in it, because I know that there is no other way out. It's either I make it or I make it.
Oman has been my baby ever since it started in 2016. I have nurtured it. We've evolved over the years till now. We've created amazing pieces together. I'm sorry, I refer to Oman as a human being as well. And I've had my own fair share of challenges. I've lost my cheerleaders, my fans, few of my family members in this journey. It was a very, very difficult time for me. It's not been easy, but I have gone through these challenges, and I can tell you that you too can go through those challenges and come out strong. I was breathing for a few years, but that did not affect my love for Oman. I still breathe and I still maintain the strength that I've had since the beginning of Oman. These losses did not just bring me down, they actually helped me even go higher. They made me want to do better. They made me want to prove to everyone that I am actually strong enough to do it. I know that it's not easy. It has never been. Oman is not just a clothing brand. Oman is a movement. Oman is a lifestyle. We make clothes that empower women, give them confidence, and make them tap into their uniqueness. The Oman Empowerment Campaign is our way of showing every woman that they are not alone. Every story is important. Every story is different. You don't have to conform to what society says about your story. You can be your true self. I want to say thank you to all the women that have decided to share their story in this campaign. You are different, you're beautiful, and you're unique.
Hi, I'm Onyechi, and this is my story. So yes, I started sewing at the age of 10. I wouldn't say sewing realistically. I became aware of what it meant to sew or what it meant to use a sewing machine at the age of 10. My parents saw that I was interested in craft because whenever there's a school program or something that had to do with craft, I was always interested in it. I wanted to always be part of it. So my parents knew that, and they kept pushing me to learn more, to do more things that relates to, craft and handwork and all of those things. So my dad decided, or my mom decided, to register me with a tailor. Then, but I was a young girl, I was a child, so all I did there was play. There was really nothing that I achieved from there. I just became aware of okay, yes, I'll say I achieved a lot from there because I became aware of what sewing was like, what it meant to sew, what it meant to stitch up clothes, even if my friend lived nearby, so I could just go and play most of the time. But yes, that was when I realized what sewing was. That's when I realized what it meant to stitch up clothes together. Yes, so that was what I achieved from that period. So after then, I did, venture into sewing for a very long time. I started sewing again in uni. So that's like how many years ago, how many years apart. But within that period, I learned other things. I learned how to make beads, necklaces and all those things. Then how to make up, how I did makeup for a while in school. But you know how you are thinking to yourself at every point in your life, like, what do you want to do in it? Like, what do you want to do with your life after school? Do you want to work in an office? Do you want to do all these things that, be in a white collar space? I've always not really been into white collar jobs, and I just didn't want to sit in the office. But I didn't know that I was going to be sewing. I didn't know that before my final year in school, I didn't know that I was going to go into fashion fully. I just knew I was interested in it, and I knew that it was one of the things that I learned. I thought I was going to do makeup because makeup was the last thing I learned before I went back into fashion. So I thought I was just going to focus on makeup and do makeup. I was good at it. I did some makeup back in school. I was getting jobs. I was getting good pay from these jobs. So I felt this is what I was going to do. But in my final year in school, now what prompted this switch from makeup to clothing or sewing? I took a class while I was in school, sewing class, a crash course, just to learn how to do patterns. Because yes, I was still interested in it, but I didn't know that was what I was eventually going to do. A final year, that was 2015, 2014, 2015. Yes, there was a fashion show in my school. So they called for a fashion show. This was the first time they were ever doing that in my school. So then I got inspired, because before then I used to sketch designs. At my free time, I'll just sketch a design. It was rough. I've really never been good at sketching. So, but I used to just sketch it anyhow it came to my head. So, but still, it wasn't like something that I wanted to put my mind in. But my final year, when I heard of this fashion show, it came to me. It was like, these are all these designs that you have, you've been sketching. Why don't you show them off in this fashion show? This is your time to actually show off something. This is a fashion show, show it off. And my friends were also pushing me, do it, do it, do it. So I said, okay, why not if not? So I went ahead and made some clothes. This was like, I had just, I think, 2 weeks to prepare for this fashion show, because I had to decide on if I wanted to do it, the cost of doing it, and the designs that I actually wanted to display. They were not serious, but they were amazing at that time. So I put out the designs. I looked for a fashion house that would sew it for me. I looked for tailors around, someone that could just stitch up the different designs. I gave some to some tailor, I gave some to some tailor. So I didn't have time, so I needed to spread out the job so that I can get all of them fast. My parents were very supportive, very, very supportive. My dad was super excited. He was ready to fund it at any point that I wanted. So he was very supportive. My family has been very supportive. So I did that. Then I called out some of my friends to help me model them, because yes, they were models for the runway for the show, but I wanted some of my friends that wanted to, that were pushing me to do it, to model them as well for me. So I got some of my friends and they tried them on, it fit, and they modeled them. So yes, this fashion show was amazing. It was my first time on stage and being in the spotlight. There were a lot of people, so I was shy. It was my first time. But I was proud of myself. I was proud of my designs. I was proud of the fact that I had a very limited amount of time and I pulled it off. So this was a proud moment for me. So while I was preparing for this show, that was when I had to come up with a brand name. And I searched. I didn't know what I wanted the name to sound like. Then I think I consulted a friend who gave me an idea. He said, put your initials together, yes, to come up with the name. After then, my full name was Onyechi Amadi Thompson. Or Onyechi Thompson Amadi, rather. Onyechi Thompson Amadi, anyhow you want to place it. So, but I wanted Onyechi, my first name, like the O in my first name, to be there to signify something. So I put that together. Then the M is like from Amadi. There is double A in Amadi. So I just put double A. Then the last N is the N from Onyechi. So it was like, okay, I just brought all my names together and I and I came up with Oman. Yes, Thompson was not part of it, but I merged Onyechi and Amadi to come up with Oman. So that is how the name Oman came about. I kept tweaking it because I think it was one A at first. Then I decided to put a double A because I wanted the name to be stretched out. So yes, that was how Oman, the name Oman, came about. I kept moving here and there, but I think I had other names, but I stuck with that because it felt like something. It felt, I felt it. I connected with it. The apostrophe, the fact that the O stands out and it's my name, it felt like me. It felt like I was building a part of me. It was like a part of me that I was a part of me that I was trying to grow again. So it felt good to have my name in something. So that was how I came up with the name, and I pushed on it. I kept putting it out there, and it started feeling more. You know how you put up something new and you're like still trying to see if it will fit in properly, and when you keep saying it, it starts feeling like you. It starts feeling, like a part of you. It was already a part of me because my name was in it. It's my name. It's not something I just cut out from somewhere. It's actually my name. So yes, that is how the name Oman came about. So after school, I went ahead to after that fashion show in school, I was researching for more fashion shows because I was not interested in doing more things in fashion. I was not interested in going to fashion school, pursuing fashion properly, because I really enjoyed that show. I really enjoyed the excitement of creating those designs. It felt like I was living a dream. So it was exciting. All my designs that I had sketched out coming to life, from scratch, everything, the fabric picking, everything, it made so much sense to me. Now, I was no longer looking at makeup, I was looking to fashion. So I started checking for fashion schools. I spoke to my family and they were like, yes, go ahead. Search for fashion schools and go on. I searched for fashion school. This was my final year in school. So I knew that once I finished school, I was going to go to fashion school first, then take it on from there. I had a name already, so why not? So I searched for fashion schools in Lagos. I went to a fashion school in Lagos. Straight from uni, I finished uni, went back to, because I schooled in Ghana, and came back to Nigeria and went straight to fashion school in Lagos. I did like a 6 months program and that was it. Since then, it has been a learning curve. I'll tell you that there's a lot of things they don't tell you in fashion school. And here I'm going to say my mistakes. My journey, my story is going to be in parts. I'm going to put them in parts because it's a very long, I can't say them all in one video because I've learned a lot from building Oman. I've learned a lot from building myself, from growing. I've had to deal with a lot of setbacks. I've had to deal with a lot of reasons to quit, reasons to just go to white collar and leave this business thing. But I don't know. I've just been here. Maybe because I said it's my plan A, plan B, plan C. I don't have a second plan. Yeah, I didn't, but now, as I said, from last year I've evolved. So yes, I finished fashion school. I finished school in 2015, and I went to fashion school. Finished fashion school 2016. Then went for NYSC. While at NYSC, I started my business. So Oman started in 2016 while I was 7. I started in Port Harcourt. I bought my machines. My parents bought my machines. Yes, I give all accolades to them. They really pushed me. My family is, I can't say my story without my family being in it. It's like they knew who I was supposed to be even before I knew myself. So they pushed me. My dad was ready to do anything that I needed to get to where I want to be. I would say it's the same thing for every of his children. He tries to make sure that you get the right skill, you are equipped for whichever future that you choose to, whatever the future brings to you, he makes sure that you're equipped for it. Whatever you want to learn, he is ready to make sure that you get it. So he always says that his children are his biggest achievement. So, yes, he always says his children are his most valuable asset. So if you want to get at him, go through his children. And when you have something of value, you invest in it so that you want to see it grow. So yes, my dad always made sure of that. He was an amazing man. He was an amazing father. So yes, he always made sure of that. So after I got my machines, I didn't start sewing. I didn't start Oman immediately because again, I was afraid. I was afraid. I wanted it perfect. I am what we call a perfectionist when it comes to things. I always want things to the letter. I want, every detail matters. So I always say it's a good and a bad thing for me because most times I don't start things or I don't do things because it doesn't feel perfect yet. So I didn't start sewing immediately. I didn't start Oman immediately. I got my machines in sometime in January and I started Oman in October. I opened fully in October because I had a store, I had machines. I even had someone working with me because I started getting jobs once I came back from, once I was in Port Harcourt, I started getting jobs. So I started sewing for people, but I didn't take it outside. Again, I was afraid. I was just doing it inside the house or yeah, inside the house. But I had a store that I was supposed to go to, but I didn't want. I was too afraid to go there. It took me how many months? January to October to push myself to come out of my comfort zone or to come out of the corners and put myself in front of people. So almost started in October officially. We opened up in October in Port Harcourt. The journey, the journey. I must say, building a brand, doing business as someone that just finished school, just finished fashion school, is not easy, and I don't advise it. If I were to tell my younger self something, I'll tell my younger self to roll up, take a breather, don't jump into it. Do something else first. Work for somebody, get experience, do something. Don't start it. Don't start it. Yes, it's not about perfection. It's about being more aware, clarity, experience. I didn't have any experience when it came to business. I didn't have any experience when it came to running a business or running a fashion business or even fashion itself. Like the only experience I had was fashion school. And if I tell you that 6 months in fashion school is not a good enough experience to start fashion business with, yes, it's not. It's not a good enough experience. Internship is important. Internship is important. Now, I tried to do internships in Port Harcourt. I tried. I really tried because when you're doing business or you're doing something and your mind keeps telling you that your hand is not strong, you need to learn more. You need to learn more. But at that point, I already started my business, and now you have the thing of, oh, do I leave what I'm doing and start working for somebody again? But if I had done that, I would have skipped a lot of parts. I would have skipped a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes. I had a lot of, especially financial mistakes, and marketing mistakes. So I would have skipped a lot of mistakes. I would have learned them on the job, working for someone else or just learning, But Right now, I said my years in Port Harcourt was my internship. That was my years of learning, my years of learning, unlearning, making mistakes, reshuffling, and yes, that was what I did in Port Harcourt. But it meant a lot to me those years in Port Harcourt. But while I was going through all of that, while I was building a business, I had my struggles. I had family struggles. I had, you know, dealing with a lot of things around growing a business, dealing with family, dealing with doubt, dealing with grief. Within those years, I lost my dad. 2018, I lost my dad. It was a huge moment. It was, when you have somebody that supports you so much, knows you so much. I was very close to my father. We were two girls, I and my younger sister. My dad used to call us his money. And he said, he said something. He said, when you have money, he was telling my younger brother, when you have money, where do you keep it? Close to your bedside. So he made sure that I and my sister were always close to him because we're his money. So I was very close to my dad. My dad was always one call away. So it felt like him not being there, not being one call away, my superhero was no longer there. And that person that is like, he's not wearing a cape, but he is wearing a cape to you, because you know that once you call at any point, no time, midnight, early in the morning, he is right there. So this was a very downtime for me. It was it was a downtime for my family. So we had to deal with a lot of things. At that time, one day I'm going to talk about this in another episode. I'm going to talk about lupus in another episode. So at that time, we're dealing with other things as well in the house. So my dad died, and the burial and all of that. Those are times where I wanted to quit. Those are times where I just wanted to sit at home and do nothing, just mourn. But adulthood doesn't allow you to do all of that. Adulthood doesn't allow you to do all of that. It's like keep going, keep going, keep going. So started building Oman and dealing with all of that. Those times made me pause. Those times made me reflect. Those times made me think of what next to do. Let's go back to building Oman and the struggles I have had to go through. I've had to go through hiring struggles. I don't think we talk about hiring as fashion businesses a lot. We don't talk about it. It is difficult to get the right tailors. It is so difficult to build the right team. And the thing about fashion, or the thing about owning a business, is once you get the team right, almost every other thing falls in place. So imagine not having the right team. But in all my struggles, God always made a way for me. I was always, in between the struggles, I'll meet the right people that would stay. I had some people that stayed for a long time. So, but I had struggles hiring. There are times when I actually paid someone to come from some other state. The person comes, stays like 2 days. After you spend all that money bringing the person, and the person leaves. Oh, my mother is sick. I want to go and take care of my wife that just gave birth. My wife just had triplets. I need to go and take care of her. All of that story. So, yes, I had a lot of stories like that. So I dealt with hiring, Now I dealt with finance. You know, in school, I majored in human resource management. So I did business studies. So in business studies, the course you would do everything about business. You would business, finance, accounting, and whatnot, all marketing, everything, law, business law, everything. So I had like a background in most of these things, but not in depthly. So I wasn't interested in accounting. Never have been. Secondary school till now, I've never been interested in accounting. I also had issues with marketing. I've also never really been a marketer or someone that knows how to talk. I'm shy, introvert, just always on my own. In my bubble, yes. So marketing was a big deal for me. Going out, talking to people, it was a big deal for me. So I had issues with marketing. I had issues with accounting, keeping track of my finance. I was making money, but I didn't know where the money was going to. So I wasn't paying rent. So where was my money going to? I wasn't feeding myself. So where is my money going to? Till now, I don't know. I was only paying salary. So where was my money going to? So I had issues with accounting. I had issues with marketing. I didn't know how to market, right? I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to speak to people. I was always in my own bubble. I didn't know how to present myself to people or to present my business to people. Yes, I had clients. I got clients through referrals, more through referrals than any other thing. Social media sometimes, yes, but through referrals. People talked about my business to other people. I didn't know how to talk about my business to other people. People that used me talked about my business. I could be in a room with someone or with a lot of ladies and I wouldn't introduce myself. I wouldn't talk about my business. I was that shy. Still that shy. I'm still that shy girl. Still that's in my own space. I don't talk unless I'm spoken to kind of thing. Still in I would go to a place or a gathering and I'm just quiet and all. It doesn't mean that when I am in a comfortable zone, I am not full of everywhere I am. But being able to market my own business to people, it's a huge deal. I always, when I see people do it, I'm like, how do you do it? I really want to be like you, but I don't know, the shyness, the introvert in me, just I'm always keeping to myself. So that was a huge struggle. Huge struggle. I used to watch my sister talk about my business then. Oh, she does this, she does that. But I can't do what she's doing. I'm just sitting there looking at her like, go ahead, my love. You're doing amazing. So yes, I had struggles with marketing. So those are my, the two issues that I had. Marketing and finance. I didn't know how to keep. I always knew how to manage people. I think that's why I focused on human resource. Or yes, I majored in human resource. So I knew how to manage people. I knew how to put them in a space and manage them. Conflict and all. Because my tailors used to have a lot of quarrels. I had two tailors then, a man and a woman. And when they started working together, they were always fighting. And I was always settling quarrel in the morning. So I knew how to manage people. I knew how to, I know the process of managing people. So it was easier for me to manage people than to keep track of my finance or to market. So I could do this, the people thing, but inside my comfort zone, but not outside it. Those are some of the struggles I had in, when I started Oman. I was, okay, within that time in Port Harcourt, I already started contemplating on moving out of Port Harcourt because I wanted something different. I was too comfortable and I felt my comfort was becoming a disadvantage for me. So I wanted to leave Port Harcourt. I wanted to move to somewhere else, somewhere that I could push myself more, somewhere that would push me more, when you have to pay rent, when you have to feed yourself, when you know how to finally be an adult. So I decided to move. Then before I moved, within the planning in 2021, I lost my sister. So now the grief of my dad was not, yes, it was there. My dad, I grieved, I was in pain, because I watched him die right in front of me. My sister died in 2021, and that was the biggest blow. How you lose someone that you basically grew up, side by side. She is like she's the one that speaks when you can't, when you don't even want to speak. She's there for you. My sister was my best friend. She was everything I needed to navigate life. She get like every, she was there to talk to not to talk to just be there. I say now that the only thing I envy about anybody, if I ever envy someone, is having a sister. If you have a sister, I envy you a lot, because you don't know what you have. If you don't know what you have raw gold. I had gold. I call her my diamond sister. I lost her in 2021, January 2021, 6th of January 2021. And since then, I keep asking people, how do you guys deal with grief? How do you deal with grief? Because, 2021 was a very difficult year for me. 2021 was when I felt, oh, just shut it down and move. Just shut it down and do something else. Shut it down and shut down. Like 2021, I was on shutdown mood. Like I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to be out there. I wanted to live life, because one thing losing my sister taught me was life was too short. You just needed to enjoy. Because for me, the normal me was home to work, work to home, just like that. That was just my activity. I didn't, mingle so much. Again, as I said, I've always been in my bubble, so I didn't mingle so much. Even when I'm at home, I'm always in my room. So after my sister died, I just felt, oh, this is how life is. Like 1 minute you're here and next minute you're gone, just like that. So young. So I decided to live life a little more. So 2021, I decided to actually live life a little more. But you know how you're living life and you're trying to have fun, and life still keeps throwing you up and down, still hitting you here and there. Like, it's like, can't I have a break? Can't I have a break? So I came to Abuja 2021. My friend, wanted me to come and just be away from the scene, the Port Harcourt scene, because for me, Port Harcourt made sense. You know how you grow up with somebody in a space and nothing else makes sense in that space if that person is not there. When you're in that space, we slept on the same bed, we woke up, like she's not there. Like, it's like your childhood, everything was just a scam. So that's how I felt at that point. Like, how did I get to this point where my childhood just became like a scam? It didn't happen. She just left like that. No goodbye. Why? Okay. So my friend said, oh, come to Abuja, let's relax, get yourself out of that space for a while. And I agreed. My mother pushed me, go live here, because she knew I was devastated. I was in so much pain, and I had to be strong for other people. I came to Abuja. No, now before then, I already said I was planning on leaving Port Harcourt. So I asked my sister then, and she was like, "Oh, Abuja, Lagos, anywhere. I know that you will succeed. I know that you have something, and the world cannot wait to see all that you have." So after she died and I got the opportunity to come to Abuja, that was my second time in Abuja, by the way. My friend brought me to Abuja. I stayed, had fun. Then, please, as I said, life kept hitting me back and front. Like, kept giving me blows. I had an accident in Abuja. So that ended up with scars. Thankfully, this is just a month after you lost your sister and you are having an accident. You're like, what is going on? What is going on? It's like, do you want to kill me? What is it? What have I done? Like, sure, the question was not even what have I done. It's like, what has my mother done? Like, what have I done? What has she done to deserve? She just lost a child, man. So anyway, yeah, I had an accident. That's a story for another day. But I enjoyed Abuja so much. The road, how calm it was. It was more like, how if you live in Port Harcourt, you understand how calm Port Harcourt is, even with the chaos. It's like it's still chilled. You're still comfortable. You're still cool. So moving from Port Harcourt to Lagos to chaos in Lagos, like madness in Lagos, it's a bit of it's overwhelming. After fashion school, I ran from Lagos, so going to Lagos again was, I was thinking about it. But when I came to Abuja and I felt so much peace, this was calm, this was cool, this was chilled, like Port Harcourt, a bit like Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt is crazy, but Abuja was also homely kind of feeling. So I was like, okay, I could consider staying in Abuja, permanently, temporarily, or whatever it was. So I considered it. My friend tried to convince me, but I was already convinced because I liked the place. And yes, that was how I decided to move to Abuja instead of Lagos and start all over again in Abuja. Do I regret it? No. Would I do it again? Yes, maybe earlier. Or I think it was a good time. So, yes, I'm glad I moved. I'm glad I did something different. I'm glad I left my comfort zone. It has taught me a lot. So, moving to Abuja, it wasn't easy. There are times when I had it really difficult, but at no point did I actually consider going back home. At no point did I, think of packing up and heading straight back to Port Harcourt, back to where there was food and I had every other thing I needed, like basic life things. I wanted to be an adult for once. Maybe, yeah, because I say I before then, I don't think I've been like, done things myself, taking care of myself, fended for myself. Actually, I was a daddy's girl. So daddy was providing, daddy was making sure that everything was good. So moving to Abuja without daddy being there to provide, it wasn't easy. But I had a second daddy. I had my brother. Um, he stepped in as a daddy at a young age after we lost our father. He was there. My brother started investing in Oman even as when I was in Port Harcourt. No, he always made sure that, yeah, whatever I needed that he could provide, he provided, whether daddy was there or not. So when daddy wasn't there anymore, he he stepped in fully. He stepped in strongly. My brother, he's a web designer. He designs amazing websites for fashion brands. So he's my personal web designer. I use him. I use him to stupor. He designed the website for our fashion school, and he's currently working on the website for Oman. He is an amazing web designer. He designs amazing fashion websites. He has worked with a number of people that I wouldn't want to mention, celebrities as well. So yes, he is very good at what he does, and he has been an impact in the success of Oman. We are growing, and he has been growing with us all the way. So he made it lighter for me to, made it a bit, helped me transition into Abuja, made it easier for me to transition. I had them to talk to. I had my mom. I had my younger brother who was always calling to check up on me, being there. My mom as well. So family made it lighter. Family made it lighter. And when I moved, I was grieving. I was in a different space. So it was good for me because it helped with the grief. It helped with settling down. It helped with putting my thoughts together. That whole busyness of trying to settle down in somewhere helps you just kind of get clarity when you're grieving. I think it just kind of took my mind off some of those things. Although when you have a huge loss like that, absolutely almost nothing can take your mind off it for a long time. So I moved to Abuja and I started all over again, left everything in Port Harcourt and moved here with few machines and all. Started sewing here and it was going well. Now, it wasn't that Abuja was making me more money. It was more that I felt different here. I felt like I had more challenges, like more things to try to work on or try to sort out. So it gave me more, it made me feel, it gave me more things to solve. You know how you just, I like challenges. I like things that make my mind or my brain work fast. So Abuja gave me that. I needed to start exploring myself more, know myself more, know my brand, understand what I wanted exactly. It was when I moved here that I started discovering the things I could do, because I was too comfortable in Port Harcourt, and the comfort in Port Harcourt also made me not explore my creativity. So here in Abuja, when I moved, all of that made me want to explore more, want to try out things more, want to know how far my creativity can go. And it's been an amazing journey. I have enjoyed every bit of it. It's been crazy, but it's been fun. It's been a learning process. It's been, I would say, amazing. That's just the I don't take any of the challenges for granted. It has taught me, it has made me who I am, and it's making me the woman I want to become or I'm going to become. So yes, I don't regret moving to Abuja. Oma started afresh here, but it was a fresh, it's still work in progress, but I like the fact that we're here. So when now come to Oman. Oman is evolving every single day. I am discovering new things I want to do, new things that I could do, or new things that is possible in Oman, new things that we could do. I have worked on this baby, like it's like worked on Oman as my baby. It is my child. It is something that even if I ever stop it, I'll be happy that I did it, because it was there for me when I was grieving. It was that thing I could run to when I didn't have any other person to talk to, or when I didn't know what to do. I could, go to work or sit on the machine and I forget a lot of things and I get busy. I could start designing a dress. Like now in 2021, I designed my first ever digital collection, 3D collection, which happened out of grief. Self-reflection, self-discovery. I designed my first 3D collection. The first ever collection that I would say I poured my heart into. It was a reflection of me. It was my true self. As I was designing that collection, I kept becoming better. I kept wanting to explore more. It opened my eye to the things I could do. So yes, Oman has evolved with that. Oman has shown me that I can, heal gradually. So with every collection that I have made, or every time I sit on the machine, it is a time to heal. It is a time to rediscover myself. So yes, Oman has given me the opportunity to rediscover myself, to learn, to explore, to make mistakes, to be an adult, to provide for myself. So yes, Oman has been my baby. Oman is my child. I'm happy that I started this brand in 2016. I'm so happy I started it. I would not change that for anything. Yes, I probably wish I did things differently, but it's been learning all the way. I have learned, I'm still learning, I'm still open to learn every single day. So yes, I'm happy I started Oman. I'm happy it is part of my life. I'm happy something gets to bear my name. I'm happy I get to impact, people's lives, dress women up. The excitement I see on women's faces when they look nice, when they are dressed fit, it's amazing. I love it. I love when I go from creating, a sketch to creating a dress, a full dress. It's amazing. It's like you're betting something. It is amazing. It's an amazing feeling. And I would not trade that for anything in the world. Growing up, when I used to see my mom all looking nice, and my mom was what we would call the slay queens or slay queens now. Her generation, she was a slay queen. She loved to dress up. She still loves to dress up. She was always looking nice. I used to always admire my mom so much. Like, how do you look this nice, man? Like, she was always looking nice. And seeing how clothes bring out her body, her curves, those are the things I want to see in women. How clothes enhanced her confidence. My mom was a very confident woman. She's an introvert and a shy woman, by the way. One day I hope I get to convince her to come and share her stories. Yeah. So, but she's very shy. But yes, how her clothing made her body look. That is what I wanted for women. That is why, I kept pushing for Oman. I kept evolving it. I kept making it better, just so that I can be able to make a woman look beautiful, confident, powerful. So yes, that is evolving Oman is where we got to with the storytelling. Now, I've always liked to tell stories. I've always liked to listen to stories, not particularly tell stories. I always like to listen to stories. I like gist. I like gist. If you're my friend, you know how much I like gist. Like, give me the update. So this is a way of me, getting the gist and transforming lives with garments, with stories from this, what I'll call gist, putting putting them in something that is, that you can see, feel, and touch. When your story, you can actually see, feel, and touch your story. That is what we're merging. Stories and garments, stories in garments. So, because I believe every garment is a story waiting to be told. But a garment is only a garment until a woman wears it. Then it becomes a story. And every story is a garment waiting to be worn. With the Celebrating Oman series, it is for us to hear your story so that get inspired from your story, the garments that you're wearing. Because our stories are garments. We wear them everywhere we go. We want to inspire people with your story. We want the world to hear your story the way you want it to be told. The Celebrating Women's story is for ordinary women, normal women, everyday women. We want all your stories. We want to hear all your stories. Women like my mother. My mom has stories to tell. I wish I could get her to come here one time, to come on screen. She's a very shy person, but yes, these are the kind of women that we want to tell their stories. We want to tell the stories of hardworking women. We want to tell the stories of women keeping the home together. We want to tell the stories of women building something bold. This is why I started Celebrating Women's Stories. In every episode, we would have a woman tell her story real, raw, and in detail. We want to feel everything that she is. So, if you've ever felt unseen, unheard, unfinished, this series is for you. Don't wait to be ready. Don't wait for the perfect version of you. Just start. Because every woman is becoming something beautiful. Subscribe, share, and join me as we celebrate women, one story, one stitch at a time.